Have you ever wondered why Anish Giri is so much better than you at chess? Good, you shouldn't. That would be a complete waste of time. However, yesterday I was thinking about this, and so aside from hanging all my pieces, playing dubious openings, and throwing away theoretically drawn endgames, and don't act like you don't do that as well, Super GMs actually do a lot of little things that none of us would do. And so in this video, I'm going to show you a position from Giri Report round 13 of the Charter Steel Chess Masters, where Giri makes some move with the white pieces, which I imagine to him is completely trivial. However, for the rest of us could be quite instructive. So let's put it up on the screen. Okay, and so Giri has the white pieces, Report is black, and you got to come up with a move. And this ain't a trick question or anything like that. There is no tactic here to win material. You just got to come up with a good move for white. And what we notice immediately about this position is that black has this horrible pawn here on d6. It's a weak pawn. We're taught as amateurs not to create structures like this. Obviously, these pawns cannot be protected by other pawns. And so Anish thought for about 2 minutes and came up with the top engine move, and you got to come up with one of these moves. And so don't act like you're not going to play rook on a to d1, okay? Because that is exactly the move I came up with, and you're going to play that move as well, okay? And if you come up with something else, I'm going to report you for cheating, okay? And so the problem with playing rook on a to d1, which is completely natural, you're thinking, how on earth is black going to defend this pawn on d6, is that black actually does have a defense, which is the move f5. And now it doesn't matter what variation you look at, white just feels a lot of heat. And so you can study this on your own, but I'm going to give you a couple of variations as an example. So let's say you just ignore this f5 move and you play queen takes d6. Well, now the problem is queen takes d6, rook takes d6, bishop takes e4. There is a discovered attack on this bishop. So you move it out of the way. And now there is a double attack on this knight on c3. Black is going to lose a pawn. If you turn on Stockfish, it is about -1.5, -2 on the engine. Okay, so taking that pawn on d6 in this position is out of the question. Okay, so you say, oh, well, don't worry about this d6 pawn. I'll pick it up later. I'll just take this pawn on f5. That doesn't work either. Because if you play e takes f5, black has this move, bishop takes c3. And now you don't want to damage your pawn structure, so you play queen takes c3, queen g5, threatening mate here on g2. You don't want to play g3 because you don't want these light square weaknesses here with this light square bishop. So you play queen g3, and now black has this move, queen takes f5, getting its material back. And you're thinking, happy days, I'm going to take this pawn now on d6. It doesn't work because after rook takes d6, black has this little tactic, bishop takes g2, grabbing a pawn, making the white king unsafe, and of course there is a discovered attack here on this light square bishop. If you try to be smart, and in this position, try to play bishop b3, protecting the c2 pawn, thinking that, oh, I'll take this d6 pawn later on my next move, it doesn't work, because black has this follow-up a5. And there's no time to take this pawn, because in the next move, your bishop is going to get trapped. And so Anish understood all this, and he doesn't play rook on a to d1. If you go into the Lead Chess database, you actually find this position 4 times. This is everyone not master level games. And every single time, a player put a rook on d1. And instead, Anish just plays this move, knight to d5. This is the top engine move. And he's thinking, well, this pawn is weak. It's forever weak. We don't need to be material hungry at this point. We don't need to allow any counterplay. And how is black going to remove this knight? There is no pawn. And if black wants to get rid of this knight, it's going to have to give up its light square bishop unless it wants to do some kind of exchange sacrifice. And this is the good bishop, right? The bishop on b7, on the other hand, is a terrible bishop because it's stuck behind this f6 pawn. And so the game goes on a bit. I won't go through all the details. You can study it on your own. I provide a link to it in the description below. However, what Anish does over time is basically get into a winning position and converts this game. And so, sure, Super GMs do all the basic things much better than us. However, there are these little things that they are doing in their games, which I think none of us are doing. So a natural question is, like, how do we learn this stuff? You're not going to be able to learn this stuff doing thousands of tactics puzzles or doing chessable courses. I guess this stuff is only learned through experience, through years and years of playing the game. I'm sure the 10-year-old Anish Giri in this position is going to play rook on a to d1. Thank you very much for your time.